back to the information and conversation with Matt. This is your Houston Morning News.
KTRH News Time is 7:17. Joining me is Marcelo Tafoya with LULAC. Marcelo, welcome to Houston's Morning News. Good to have you on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Let me play something for you. I want to get your thoughts on it. It's Newt Gingrich. You've probably heard this.
We should replace bilingual education with immersion in English so people learn the common language of the country and so they learn the language of prosperity, not the language of living in a ghetto.
All right. Mario is Spanish. I'm sorry, Marcelo is Spanish, the language of the ghetto. How do you feel about that statement? Now, it was delivered in a speech back in 2007 to the National Federation of Republican Women.
Right. I understand that completely. Now, a good question is that what is the definition of a ghetto?
Right.
You know, could a ghetto be where the Anglos live, or a ghetto where the African Americans live, or the Asians live? It all depends on your definition of ghetto. And coming from Mr. Gingrich, I don't understand. He don't understand what a ghetto is. So as far as I'm concerned, if a ghetto is where 90% of the Latino community lives, that's entire United States of America. And you have a state like Florida where the majority are Latinos. Is that a ghetto state? You know, so it's...
Now, Marcelo, do you think that most of the Hispanic voters are going to spend as much time as you and I might be this morning breaking this down? I mean, honestly.
I doubt it.
He said this back in 2007. Here we are in 2011. Do we really care what Gingrich said back in 2007?
To me, no, except one thing I would like for him, I would like people to consider, his involvement with Freddie Mac. Now, they don't talk about things like that. You know, the man has been involved with Freddie Mac. They gave Freddie Mac a bailout, and yet he's still there. He's still there, still asking for more money. This is the thing that we ought to be concerned of, the actions of a politician who not only show his ignorance by saying things like that, but also then coming back and saying, I have a tweeter so that people can tweet me and vote for me. I mean, you know, how can you be two-faced?
All right. Marcelo, do me a favor and hang on. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk a little bit here on the other side of our traffic and weather about the candidate that Hispanics are looking at right now. Where do you think they are falling? Which camp are they falling into? I realize it's early. We'll get back to Marcelo Tafoya with LULAC in just moments. KTRH News Time, 7:22. Marcelo Tafoya with LULAC joining me this morning. Marcelo, you and I probably don't agree on too much. But what you said about Gingrich before the break in Freddie Mac, I agree with you. I mean, I think he's got a lot of explaining to do there, frankly. But let me ask you, candidates. Okay, Kane's going to build a moat, fill it with alligators. Mm-hmm. You've got Perry. I don't think LULAC is a big fan of Governor Rick Perry. You've got President Obama, who has probably deported more illegals back to Mexico. Most of them are criminals anyway. Let's see, who else is there? You got Gingrich, who thinks that Spanish is the language of the ghetto. Who we got left there? I mean, who are you going to line yourselves up with here?
Well, also we have a gentleman accused of wrongdoing with women and things like that. Yeah. You know, so you have right now the field of candidates is, as far as we're concerned, is zero. Because we have been made promises in the past, not only by Obama, we've had promises by many of the Republican candidates who have been running. So we're sitting back saying, okay, you have promised us all these things. We're sitting back and finding out which of all of you has the true honesty of coming forward and saying, you know what, I am actually going to do something for the benefit of the Latino community, be it immigration reform, which could be a very simple thing to be done. Obama could have done that 2 minutes after he got elected.
Yeah, but he was your guy. I mean, he was your guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he promised. In fact, word by word upon his election that he was going to do something. Okay, the Hispanic community sat back and said, well, look, we realize there's other big issues like the economy, the war. Okay, we're going to give you a break. But after the second year, he should have just made an executive order saying, you know what, no more deportation till we get this thing settled as far as immigration reform. But did he do that? No. And now he's coming back and trying to do things like that.
You don't want these criminals. A lot of these folks that he's been deporting.
No.
I mean, these are hardcore murderers and
rapists. The community is the first ones who really need to turn those people over, because we don't like violence either. We don't like people in our neighborhood either. But what's happening is now, because they're not doing anything about it, the majority of the people are not talking at all because they're scared that they'll be the next one picked up and deported.
Yeah. Marcelo Tafoya joining us with LULAC. It's just amazing to me, and I look at how the Hispanic vote is being courted, but at the same time, Marcelo, I don't see anyone that has really done anything that it would appear to me anyway that the Hispanic community could line up with. Marcelo, it's a pleasure having you on. We'll have you back.
Take care of yourself. God love.